Why do narcissists believe in conspiracy theories? Part 1. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I'm going to examine why it is that some narcissists heartily embrace the concept of the conspiracy theory. Naturally, there are people who say it's not a conspiracy theory, it's actually the truth, and it's information that has been covered up by certain powers for the purposes of ensuring that the general populace doesn't know about certain things. It is certainly the case that governments and organisations do cover up certain information, but there are also instances where it is evident that the suggestion that is being advanced does not fit with science, with the evidence, with credible assessment. I want to make it clear that this is not a debate about whether something is or is not a conspiracy theory. It is not an exercise in determining whether conspiracy theories are actually always true or whether they're a lot of deluded nonsense. You will have your own views about that. The point is to examine why it is that narcissists commonly have a relationship with what are determined as conspiracy theories, to help you understand that aspect of the narcissistic dynamic. I explain this so you don't make yourself look foolish in the comments section, banging on about it being, it's the truth, HG. Well, if that's your belief, you're very welcome to adopt that belief. You're perfectly entitled to your opinions, but this isn't the time for the debate about whatever particular theory you're advancing. This is a discussion about narcissism and its role within conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories are a contentious subject. Beyond the complex issue of what actually defines a conspiracy theory, people who disagree about conspiracy theories seem to be perennially confused by one another. People who genuinely reject conspiracy theories tend to deride people who believe them. How can these people take such ridiculous, out-there ideas seriously? On the other hand, people who take conspiracy theories more seriously wonder, why is everybody so blind to what's really going on? Why can't they see it? How can these people buy into the lies that are being put out by the establishment, by the government? Why won't they wake up and see it? In a broader sense, these questions are asking essentially the same thing. Why do people differ in how much they believe conspiracy theories? This is an important question. Certain conspiracy theories can lead to serious consequences, for instance, for vaccination rates, political engagement, pro-environmental behaviours, and even how people behave within their workplace. On the other hand, if people really are routinely engaged in sinister conspiracies against the public good, perhaps having a degree of suspicion isn't a bad thing at all. Many people have been considering the variation in conspiracies for quite some time, certainly since conspiracy theories about the John F. Kennedy assassination began in the 1960s. Since then, there's quite a lot of psychology associated with the idea of conspiracy theories, and the appropriate personality types that fit with that. And of course, within all of that framework, we need to consider what is the position of the narcissist. How does the narcissist fit with the idea of a conspiracy theory? Interestingly, one of the major findings that has come out of social psychology in the past century or so has been the concept of fundamental attribution error. What's that? Well, this is a tendency for people to think that the behaviour of other people is essentially caused by the sort of person that they are, rather than the situations they find themselves in. This is particularly pertinent to the issue of narcissists. I have regularly and repeatedly explained that in order to make a determination about whether somebody is a narcissist, we need to have credible evidence so that they get over the evidential threshold, that there has to be evidence from a variety of different sources, and that evidence must span a period of time. The reason being is that we need to see that the various indicators of the behavior of the narcissist are repeated, sustained, and entrenched. Relying on one incident is insufficient. Commonly, people ask me, HG, this person failed to respond to my messages. Does that mean they're a narcissist? The somewhat unhelpful answer is, possibly. We cannot make a determination just from that one act alone. An example of this is that you walk into a corner shop, and there you find a distressed lady. She's throwing tins of food around. She's trying to hit the shopkeeper and climb up onto the counter and steal money from the till. What's driving her behaviour? Perhaps she's having some form of breakdown. But it might be this individual is a narcissist. After all, she's showing an absence of emotional empathy for the shopkeeper and the other shoppers. She's showing rudimentary manipulations of the threat of physical violence, attempted physical violence. She's showing a lack of boundary recognition by trying to steal money, and the destruction of property by smashing it up or throwing it around. She's showing a lack of accountability for her behaviours. Her demeanour is haughty and dismissive. It's rather grandiose that she believes that she can treat the property of the shop in this way. Various narcissistic indicators are present. Or might it be the case that it's not about what she is, i.e., that she's a narcissist, but rather her behaviour is caused by the situation that she's found herself in? And if we were to examine the situation further and be furnished with more information, we would actually learn that the problem that she has is that her husband has been unable to work for 6 months because of ill health. She has just been made redundant, her card has been rejected at the till, she's got 3 children that need feeding, and all of those factors have caused an erosion in her emotional empathy, causing her to essentially have a meltdown in the shop. People who know her said she's never behaved like this before. She's known for being kind, caring, quiet. Thus, what you have there is the possibility of this lady in the shop of being somebody who is either behaving the way that she does because of what she is, i.e. a narcissist, or she's behaving in the way that she is because of the situation that she's found herself in, desperate straits. We can't make that determination just from the one incident, and this is where this fundamental attribution error comes about. Take also, for example, if somebody shouts at another driver in a car park, they could be an average person who's just having a bad day, and therefore the fact that they'd had an argument with their wife earlier, that they've had some bad news at work, that they're running late for an appointment, has all reduced their emotional empathy so that when they deal with somebody who has stolen their car parking place, they essentially lose their shit. Or it might be that they habitually shout and rage at people, and this is just another instance of it. We need to look at, is it the case that the individual behaves in the way that they do because of what they are, or are they affected by the circumstances around them? In other words, their reaction could come from something specific to provoke the situation. However, it's the case that psychologists have found that most people generally jump to the conclusion that the angry person is just that, an angry person, someone with a naturally short temper and little patience for others, rather than thinking maybe it's circumstance that has made them behave this way. Accordingly, this fundamental attribution error is applicable with regard to the belief and disbelief in conspiracy theories. A die-hard skeptic might see conspiracy theories as the mark of someone who is paranoid and suspicious by nature. That is their fundamental personality. Likewise, for the more conspiracy-minded, it's tempting to think that conspiracy skeptics are actually naive and gullible. That's their personality type. Because of the fundamental attribution error, these sort of explanations are simply the first things that can come to mind. It should be no surprise, then, that psychologists have found a lot of time investigating exactly why this kind and other explanations for conspiracy theory belief have come about. In other words, the question becomes, what sort of person believes and similarly rejects a conspiracy theory? This maps onto a field of individual differences. The individual differences question has driven much of the research that has taken place into conspiracy theories and continues to wield influence. If you want to know, for instance, how seriously someone takes conspiracy theories, you should ask them how much they trust others. The issue of trust, of course, is something that is often problematic with narcissists. All narcissists have to trust to a degree. For example, in order for me to record this video for you, I need to ensure that I have a supply of electricity. I therefore have to trust that the utility company is going to supply electricity to one of my properties. I don't ring them up first thing in the morning and say, "Now then, this is H.G. Tudor. I want you to explain to me, to the level of satisfaction that enables me to get on with my day, how you're going to ensure that I have electricity to my property during the course of today." I just have to accept and take on trust. But narcissists exhibit far less trust when it comes to the nature of interpersonal relationships. This is as a consequence, of course, that people essentially let the narcissist down. You can ask a person how open-minded they are about such theories. Do they believe that people are out to get them? Do they believe, for instance, in unusual or paranormal experiences? Conspiracy theorizing could be driven in part by evidence, but it is more often driven by an underlying psychological tendency. Having set the scene in respect of the concept of narcissists being involved in conspiracy theories, we're going to continue this examination in part 2. Join me there.